Okay, I think we're live. Beautiful. Okay. The only thing I know of that I missed was DJ Reader went to the Lions. Okay, what's going on here? Ooh, Sam Howell. Seahawks receive a fourth, a sixth, and Sam Howell. Commanders receive our third and our fifth. Interesting. Wow. No, I didn't know, guys. I literally didn't know. Yeah, Devin Bush went to the Browns. I did see that. Okay, let me think here. So let's see here. Brady Henderson. Well, Bill Barnwell estimates what the value of the trade is. The FBG Chase chart estimates basically we gave up a fifth round pick for Sam Howell. All right, let's see here. Yeah. So literally, I had no idea, guys. I had no idea. What's the cap hit on Howell this year? Do we know? Howell was a fifth round pick, so it checks out. Yeah. Less than $1 million? Okay. I dig it. Do you think he's a good quarterback? I think he could be. He's not right now. How can he possibly be a good quarterback right now? Like, how is that even possible for him to be a good quarterback at the moment? So less than $1 million and then a little more than $1 million. Okay. Okay, let me update the tracker. That's pretty sizable, man. The He probably is better than Locke, honestly, but I don't know if he's good. Well, let me click around here real quick. Yeah, we know Schneider liked Howell a couple years ago. Thank God we're not trading for Fields now, although I do wonder if the ultimate trade compensation for Fields would have been about what we gave up for Howell. That being said, I kind of like having Howell more than Fields. Boy, okay. Test. All right, let's go ahead and do it, guys. We got a video to shoot here. Uh, well, I left in the middle of the day for about an hour, hoping that nothing would really happen, but something happened. The Seahawks actually made a trade while I was gone, and it's not a complete nothing trade either. It's a trade of at least a little bit of substance. So I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've heard by now, and if you haven't heard by now, you see it in the video title and the video description. But yeah, the Seahawks went ahead and made themselves an interesting trade, and they have themselves a backup quarterback now. So the effects of this trade are very clear on the roster, but let's first dissect the actual swap. So Sam Howell, quarterback last year of the Washington Commanders, is getting traded to the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks receive Sam Howell, who we know John Schneider liked a couple years ago in the draft, a 4th-round pick from the Commanders, and a 6th-round pick. The Commanders receive a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick. So basically, the Commanders move up in the draft a few dozen spots on day 3 in order to sell off Howell. And Howell, his cap hit for the next 2 years is very small. It's going to be about $1 million each of the next 2 years. So the money part of it is kind of nice. Like, I do prefer this. Just speaking about Howell, I would much rather have a guy like Sam Howell at $1 million as a backup quarterback than a guy like Drew Lock at $5 million, or a guy like Joe Flacco at $9 million. This is so much better than that to me. So on that front, I'm happy. Now, we did give up some draft capital, and here's the thing. I think when you're talking about this trade, first you need to figure out what did we really give up in terms of draft capital, because we traded down in the 3rd and we traded down in the 5th, basically. We went back about 24 spots, 24, 25 spots at both picks. What is that worth? Modern day draft pick charting, which is really, really shaky, honestly, estimates those 2 trade backs are worth about a middle 5th-round pick. Jimmy Johnson's chart from the 90s, which really valued picks, estimates it as a 3rd-round pick, which doesn't really make a lot of sense given the fact that we gave up a 3rd and a 5th and got back a 4th. Like, that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. And I don't know if NFL teams even use either chart anymore. So it's really hard to determine the exact value of the trade down at 2 different day 3 spots. So what this does is remove a clear need for the Seahawks in the draft. No longer are we going to take a quarterback, I think. I think we are committed to Sam Howell as the backup, and we're not going to carry 3 quarterbacks. Most teams don't. We typically have not. I don't know why you would make this trade and then still draft a quarterback. Now, Sam Howell played respectably last year for the Commanders in a pretty bad situation. He put up good numbers, but there were big, big flaws in his game. There were big, big flaws in Howell's game. He took way too many sacks, although some of that was because Washington was a pretty bad team. And he also got a little turnover happy as the season went on. So I don't know. I mean, Howell was a guy who confused me a lot a couple years ago. A couple years ago when I tried to scout him, I wasn't sure what to make of Mr. Sam Howell, and I still kind of don't. So as a player, is he worth that 5th-round pick approximate value? Probably. I would say so. Something like that. That's what he was drafted with, right? He was a 5th-round pick a couple years ago. And to say that his value has basically stayed the same, I think that lines up. He did play respectably for a bad Washington team, but he is probably just a backup level quarterback in the NFL. So the question is, really, would you rather have spent this approximate fifth round pick, and I'm going to say it's approximately worth a fifth round pick, on Howell, or would you rather have used that fifth round pick on a guy like Joe Milton? Because I don't think guys like Jordan Travis and Michael Pratt were there. I think the best quarterback available in about the fifth round would be somebody like a Joe Milton. So I love Joe Milton personally, so I would have gone that way, but I know a lot of people don't, and I understand that it's less likely that Joe Milton becomes a good NFL player than Sam Howell, admittedly. I don't know if I love the odds for either of them, but I also think that Joe Milton has a much higher ceiling. So if that's the comparison that you're making, I would have rather gone the other way, but I don't really have a big problem with going this way. Um, Losing draft capital in this draft is I have mixed feelings on it. It's not a very good draft in the day 3 area. So trading back from the third to the fourth kind of sucks. But trading back from the fifth to the sixth doesn't really mean anything to me. So I kind of have mixed feelings on that one personally. I'm not going to get upset about that part of it. I don't know. I'm conflicted. I wasn't expecting this. I thought that we might wait for somebody like this or somebody like Malik Willis to get cut, maybe, and then we'd swoop in on them. I thought maybe we would be a little more patient with this, but we know that Schneider liked Sam Howell a lot from a couple of years ago in the draft, and he decided he wanted to make sure that he got his guy, and he gave up approximately. I want to stress that here. This is not objective about a middle fifth round pick. So we do maintain one of our third round picks. So now our picks are going first, third, fourth, sixth, seventh, I believe. If I am recalling correctly, that's the pattern for our picks. So we lose a little bit of draft capital in order to bring in Sam Howell. And it's one less thing we have to worry about in the draft. So not upset about it. Not upset. Not feeling super strongly about it though. I don't. I think it's more likely than not Sam Howell doesn't become a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL, but he's probably worth being a backup. He did play well enough last year to at least justify that. But there's a lot of moving parts here, a lot of things to consider. I wonder if, because I just said the approximate value of the trade was a fifth round pick. If we had just straight up done Sam Howell for a fifth round pick, would fans feel differently? Does that feel different than trading back from the third to the fourth? It feels like it does, even though the value is about the same. So, sound off down below. I know you're gonna. I know people are gonna be feeling one way or another about this. This one's really interesting. And straight up, it's I'm gonna have to look more into Sam Howell. I remember really liking some stuff I saw with him a couple years ago, and I remember not liking some stuff. I'm gonna dig into him a little bit more in the coming days, try to understand what we're dealing with here. But I like this way better than Justin Fields. I will say that. I like this so much better than Justin Fields. Because at the end of the day, Fields was going to cost way more. Fields would have had more expectations. I would have had 1,000 comments every single week of people screaming for Justin Fields to play. I don't think I'm going to have to deal with that with Sam Howell because he's Sam Howell. It's a little bit different. All right. So let me know what you guys think. I know you're going to anyway. But yeah, we traded Seattle Seahawks trade for Sam Howell. And I missed it on stream, of course, because I was busy with something that I couldn't avoid. But yeah, welcome to Seattle, Sam Howell. You are the backup quarterback, and we now don't have to worry about that for the rest of the offseason. And by the way, Devin Bush, gone. Devin Bush is gone to Cleveland. I don't think anyone's going to miss that. All right, see you guys later. Wow, Armstead got paid. Damn, man. Armstead got paid. Okay. All right, guys, give me a couple minutes to get the video up here. I'm still kind of trying to process how I feel about this one. Why did they have to do this while I was gone? Columbo, please tell me you're not being serious with that garbage. A CFL caliber quarterback? Good lord. People just say stuff, man. They make no effort to actually make sense. They just say things and think that offers credibility. Carson, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Do the most to get MM what he wants year one, reval year two. Panthers signed DJ Wanham to 2 for. I'm actually not very familiar with him. Alright, guys, let me get this video uploaded. All right, so we actually made a move that is non-trivial today. Miles, thank you for the $2 tip. I think Howell has lower expectations and he's surrounded with a better offense. Overall, I like the move. Yeah, I don't have high expectations for him, but I think 5th round pick is probably about right, and he's cheap, and he's not Justin Fields. Okay, so I don't like it. I don't dislike it. It's just fine, you know? I think Howell could be good. I think it's somewhat unlikely that he becomes a starting caliber quarterback, but it's possible. That's worth a 5th round pick for me. Minimal downside, yeah. Oh, sorry, Derek. I'm behind. I'm still catching up. I haven't even eaten lunch yet. Okay. Okay, Raymond Littlefield became an elite member during the break. Thank you, Raymond Littlefield. Derek, thank you for the $4.99. How do you feel about the Howell trade? Also, thanks for doing such a good job at giving us the news and updates on the Seahawks. Yeah, I think I just basically summed up everything I have to say about the Sam Howell trade. It's fine. 5th round pick for a cheap backup quarterback. I like that. I like this so much more than giving $5 million to Locke or $9 million to Flacco. Okay, yeah, Carson and Derek, thank you for the donos. I'm going to go ahead and put those up on the meter. We're up to 107 now. Okay. Darius Brown, thank you for the $4.99. Want to know when Seattle makes a move? Just wait for the stream to end. Kind of. How did Armstead get that much money? I know he's good, but goddamn. Okay, so the Panthers got DJ Wanham. Does that mean they're out on Clowney? Does anybody know the details on the Devin Bush contract yet? That the value of that contract determines if we get a compensatory pick. So, David Velez, thank you for the $5. Does this shut the door on drafting a QB this year? Probably. I can't imagine us drafting a quarterback now. That'd be very weird. Most teams don't carry 3 quarterbacks, and I don't think we should. Top players available? Okay. We traded back from the 3rd to the 4th and the 5th to the 6th. I don't care at all about trading back from the 5th to the 6th, but going from the 3rd to the 4th, that kind of hurts a little bit. 4.5 for Bush? Why did he get a pay raise? That don't make no sense. Does he get more money? I don't think this decision changes whether or not we should trade back or not. Yeah, that I don't think the 4.5 is true. There are things about Howell that are nice, and there are some things that are tough. It was our third. We keep the Broncos pick at 81. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we still have 1/3, guys. Howell has a chance to be the starter. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Sam Howell's also very young. That's actually a really good point. According to the Fitzgerald Spielberger draft pick valuation chart, we gave up the equivalent of a 7th round pick for Sam Howell. According to the Jimmy Johnson chart, we gave up the equivalent of a 3rd round pick. And according to the other one, whose name I can't remember, it's a 5th. So let's split the difference and say it's the equivalent of a 5th round pick. Let's just hang out in the middle here. Let's find common ground. Am I okay with spending a 5th round pick on a valuable potential backup? I think so. Remember, this now means we don't have to spend a pick on another quarterback. Power hitter, thank you for the $4.99. Last year, the last pick in the 3rd round was 102. So if you think about it, it is kind of like a late third given we got 102. Well, that also changes from year to year depending on where the value is in the draft. Fans want Penix though? Well, I don't care what those fans want, man. I'm sorry. I like him too, but this team is not in a good shape to be able to take on a guy like Penix and have him succeed. There was some stuff about Howell last year that was great. There was also some stuff that was awful. We will only owe him $2 million over the next 2 years too. I really like that part. I love having a backup quarterback that's dirt cheap. Like even last year, I didn't like paying Locke $4 million for 1 year. That $4 million was something that I wasn't thrilled about. And this year it would have cost more. This is so much better than doing that, in my opinion. The fact that Howell versus Locke is even a debate indicates that this is a good decision to me because Sam Howell is making 25% of what Locke makes. What would the cap hit have been on a Justin Fields trade, by the way? It would have been way more than that. All right. I think we're caught up. Michael Hyde, thank you for the $1.99. Are there any good LB prospects at 16? Trade down? I don't think so. There's no linebacker worth 16. No way. No how. The truth is, I know it. I don't think he got Lance hurt on purpose, but I think he was very careless. No, apparently Connor Williams isn't willing to sign with anybody until he rehabs. It's going to take too long. Yeah, Devondre Campbell is a possibility. Texans have signed Tim Settle. He was actually on my list, I think. Was he? I may have taken him off because we already filled out our defensive line. But maybe I never had him on. Okay. Dolphins signed Benito Jones. Not familiar. Oh, by the way, I forgot to update the tracker, I think. Hold on. Okay, tracker on Super Chats is now updated. Thank you to everybody. Silas, you would think if we draft at 16, it could be Dallas Turner. It could be Patanu. Could be Bowers. I don't know. Our current draft picks, I don't have them. I can talk about them. First, third, fourth, sixth, seventh. Get money is stupid. What are you doing here, dude? What are you doing with this garbage? I don't think other fan bases would have this complete mental breakdown moment over trading the equivalent of a fifth round pick for a backup quarterback. Dogzilla Monster, thank you for the $2. Where was Howell on your list? I mean, he wasn't on the list because he wasn't a free agent. Our hitter, thank you for the $1.99. Are you going to play Battlefront Classics? Not immediately, maybe down the line, but I'm in no rush. Can we not be that fan base? The fan base that goes to pieces after every little thing? Even if you don't like it. It's ultimately very insignificant. Jets have made Alan Lazard available in trades. The Big Bean, thank you for the $1.99. Do you like us meeting with Simmons and White? That's a fake report. We're not. We might still sign one or both, I guess, but we're not meeting with them. That was a fake report. Even if Locke is better than Howell, who cares? Howell's also like 20% of the cost. And we all hope he never has to play. The fact that Howell versus Locke is even a debate tells you what you need to know. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about Devin White to the Niners. They already, well, actually, they lost Eric Kendricks, so they do maybe need a linebacker. Is Geno better than Howell? I would certainly hope so. Bro, that money means nothing? Yes, it does mean something. Good lord. Get money. Go have your mental breakdown on someone else's stream. My lord. Go start a Discord server and, like, yell into the void. No, I don't think Jerzon Newton at 16 makes very much sense. We don't have a big defensive line need anymore. It's not a pudding cup. That's yogurt. The hell? Corbin Smith believes the Seahawks never wanted Justin Fields. I can't believe this is my life, people. Just let the draft come to you guys. Calm down. We're starting a brand new regime. Everybody calm down. What's the Sam Howell move forward? To be the backup quarterback. What do you guys think he's going to do? Move to linebacker? All right, that's enough of that. I can see a scenario where Sam Howell becomes a workable quarterback, but if all he ever is a backup quarterback, then that's fine too. We gave up a 5th round pick for him and we're going to pay him $2 million combined over the next 2 years. Lewinsky might work, actually. That's not bad. Lewinsky's kind of nice. Why Howell so cheap? He was a 5th round pick. Joe Mixon extended with the Texans. How do you feel about tight end Jaheim Bell? Isn't he really small? Wasn't he the guy who's like super undersized? TJ Wanham actually got 14.5 million, not 12.5. Yeah, that's true. We also don't lose the compensatory pick. All the that's actually a really good point. I didn't even think about that angle. The cap. Okay, let's see if the compensatory pick calculator on OTC is updated. I don't think it is. But in fairness, we don't know the Fant contract yet. So we still are sitting on fourth, fifth, sixth, and sixth. The sixth could become a fifth if Wagner meets his incentives, I think. Is there anything else good you can say about how they'll have me be happy about this? You mean besides him being really cheap? There is arm talent there. He can run, he can make plays on the move. Oh my god, how did Mixon get that much money? Are you kidding me? In what universe is Joe Mixon worth that much money at this point? He's like mediocre. Colombo, I don't think that's true because his max money is 8.5 and Sean Murphy Bunting at 8.5 is a fifth rounder. So I think he could get up to a fifth if he meets all his incentives. That's my understanding of it anyway. But either way, in a perfect world, what linebacker do we sign? Campbell. Is it? Oh, it's positional based, Colombo? I don't know all the compensatory pick rules. Also, we won't know. We won't know officially until next year anyway. But my understanding is that it could go up. So either way, we're doing quite well in that area. Stop talking about Chase Young. I don't want that guy. I don't want that bust on my team. Get Chase Young out of here. Is Fields even starting caliber? I don't think so. One year, 2 million for Bush. Okay, that makes sense. And if that's the case, there's no comp pick there, but we currently are maxed out on comp picks anyway. Guys, Geno Smith had a below average sack rate last year, despite getting pressured at an extremely high rate. This idea that he holds on to the ball too long is based in pure, raw, unadulterated fiction. Like, if you actually think that, I think you were watching like somebody simulate the season in Madden and you weren't watching the actual games because all the statistics completely contradict what you're saying. He was pressured at a very high rate, yet he was sacked at a below average rate. So if you think that, I think you were watching the wrong games last year. Or maybe you saw him take a bunch of sacks in one game, and for some reason you think that was the case in every game. Yeah, Brooks is a fifth as of right now on OTC. Hanniger's killing it. Anyway, there are a lot of people in the chat right now, so this gives me an opportunity to go through it. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today to be part of day number 4 of Free Agency Frenzy Week. Things are already happening. Things are going nuts. I'm going to be streaming until about 5 o'clock, so we got another 2 hours and 20 minutes. If you would like to help out the stream, there are many things you can do. Like the stream. We have 730 people in here and 120 likes. So if you haven't already, please click the like button on the stream. You can also subscribe to the channel if you're new. We are like 20, hold on, let me get the exact count here. 24 subscribers away from 17,000, which was my end of month goal. So if we could get there today, that'd be excellent. And participate in chat, help me follow stuff, help me talk about stuff. You guys know the drill, how to participate, how to be in chat. And if you want to go above and beyond that, there are many ways you can do so. You can become a channel member. We are 17 members away from another emoji slot for members. So if you want to become a member, you can do so. We've already hit our March goal because of John gifting so many memberships, but you can still become a member if you aren't. You can donate via super chatting or tipping. If you super chat or tip, am guaranteed to see the associated message and respond to it. If you chat normally, I will probably see it, but I'm going to miss comments because there's so many. And you can also pledge to the Patreon, link in the description. And that's really about it. So let's just sit back and see what happens. Lord Skyler, thank you for the $4.99. The sample size I saw with Drew Lock and the weapons he had when he was a starter in Denver versus Howell, the weapons he had in Washington, I like the value. Even if Lock is better than Howell, I would much rather spend $1 million on Howell than $5 million on Lock. It's not even close. Like, that's actually, that matters. Misfit Actual, welcome to basic membership. Thank you for the channel support. Appreciate it. Brendan, do you think Howell's interceptions were his fault or not? Well, I'm sure most of them were his fault. Remember, he threw the ball over 600 times. You're going to throw interceptions when you throw the ball that much. Especially when you're not a very good quarterback. You're just, he's probably a low-end starter or a high-end backup at best. And you made him throw the ball 600 times. I don't know if Washington's offensive line was that bad. It wasn't good, but I don't think it was that bad. I think he's just a limited player. But guess what? He's your backup quarterback on a team that has made a non-trivial investment at the quarterback position. I would love to collect sports cards, Jaden Cruz, but I don't. Yeah, Sam has problems in his game like holding onto the ball for too long. He absolutely does that. What the hell? If Sam Howell didn't have a problem with taking sacks, we wouldn't have been able to trade for him, and he'd probably be the franchise quarterback in Washington. The reason why we can get him is the fact that he's such a flawed player. That's why you get him for the equivalent of a 5th-round pick. That's why you can only pay him a couple $1,000,000 over the next 2 years and have it be okay. Locke would have like 60 interceptions if he threw the ball 600 times, I think. No Penix then? I don't think we're going to draft a quarterback. Bryce Huff has said that other teams that had interest in signing him were the Jets, Giants, Commanders, Seahawks, and Vikings. So we did take a run at a more prolific edge player. That's interesting. Curious. It's a third and a fifth. I'm equivalent fan since 92. Equivalent. Because we also got a fourth and a sixth. Going from the fourth to the sixth kind of sucks. Going from the fifth to the sixth, I don't care about. A couple people on my Twitter or X feed are saying that the Battlefront collection sucks. Null Hypothesis, thank you for the $5 super chat. Is it becoming clear on our priorities going forward? What does this free agency tell us about the draft and the upcoming season in your eyes? Well, it's not a season where we're going for it, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It's a proof of concept season, and I don't think anybody should be upset about that. But I think clearly the focus on the draft is going to be the offensive line. Hmm. That's the area where we're being very frugal and not getting starting caliber players. We need to address this interior, and it seems to me that we're not interested in doing it with free agency dollars, which does kind of make sense when you look at the guard market being so out of whack. Oh yeah, linebackers too. Here's the thing though. I feel like with McDonald on board, we're going to be able to get more value out of lesser linebackers than we did previously. Like we're going to be able to get like somebody in the 5th round and get good production out of them compared to expectations because of McDonald. Remember, Patrick Queen was considered a bust until Mike McDonald took over that defense. Yeah, 3rd to 4th kind of sucks. Yeah. Is Charles Cross good? Yeah, he's good. Yeah. Was kind of feeling a Sam Howell trade for some reason, man. It just made sense to me. Did we already know about the Bills and Curtis Samuel? Bills signing Curtis Samuel. We knew about that, right? That's from a couple days ago, right? I feel like that's familiar. 17 subs away from 17,000. Yeah, we have to get a veteran linebacker at some point, even if it's just somebody like Perryman. That's new? Okay, that's actually pretty significant then. 330 for Curtis Samuel. Also, guys, really, off-ball linebacker is pretty dang low leverage in the modern NFL. The position does not matter as much as it used to. Andre Campbell, yeah, Campbell would be fine too. Bills signed Curtis Samuel for 3 years, 30 million. I'm trying to get this thing to angle correctly. Huh. It won't. I think that's good, actually. Okay, that'll do. It's possible, Caden, but I mean, Howell's ceiling might just be quality backup. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people, you can only do what God gave him to do with. And that's period. You have a place in this league as a capable backup. I feel like Schneider low-key sees Howell as a QB of the future. I mean, maybe he sees that as a possibility, but I don't think he's betting heavily on it. Because Washington sniped Schneider for Howell. We were going to take him in the 5th, but we got sniped. Yeah, Howell has a great arm. It's just a question of will he actually ever be able to use it productively. Hey, Daniel. Oh. Mm. What else we got? Uh-oh. David, Atlanta's in trouble. Atlanta's in trouble, David. We have a smoking gun. Seattle did not have a better offensive line than the Commanders last season. Not even close. Our offensive line was awful last year. Howell does have a problem with holding onto the ball too long. Most rookies do. Most young quarterbacks do. Tucker, it's going to have a lot less teeth because it's Sam frickin' Howell. It had more teeth with guys who are considered to be a little bit more better or have higher potential. All right, guys. I'm going to take a short break. I'll be back in a few minutes and we will continue on. We got 2 hours left on the stream. Okay, we are back. So, would you guys here's okay. We haven't done one of these yet this week. Okay, let's do a poll. I know some people liked Ritter more than Howell. I don't know if any of them are here, but I know they exist for sure. Josh Jacobs, officially locked in. Hey, must be the money. I liked Ritter more coming out of school. Ritter was my favorite quarterback in that draft. It's been a mess so far, but I don't want to completely bail out on him just because of a rough season. But I thought Ritter looked good in college. Is the Mariners bullpen going to blow another spring training game? Ooh, that would be an interesting poll. Here's the problem, though. Fields costs way more money and also is due an extension sooner and would also probably cost more draft capital. So if I posted the poll, it wouldn't really work because there are factors beyond just the player. Howell and Ritter had similar value. So it's like, okay, would you rather have Sam Howell or Justin Fields, but you have to give up a third round flat for Fields, and you have to pay Fields, and you have to extend Fields after one season probably. Like there are too many other things you have to drag into the conversation, I think. It doesn't work well. You're pretty and really good at softball, but we don't talk much anymore. Devin White is still a free agent, yes. Yeah, I would take Howell over Fields. Fields is garbage. Fields is ass, dog. believe Armstead got 50 million, by the way. I'm still looking at that one kind of confused. I know Armstead's good, but 51 million? All right, I think that poll result is pretty conclusive. 92%, which doesn't surprise me, I guess. But I don't know. I think I'm not completely counting out Desmond Ridder yet. Possibly not. I mean, look at the quarterbacks that we could have obtained in the look at the quarterbacks we could have obtained with the 5th round pick that we gave up equivalently for Howell. Think about it. It would have probably been Joe Milton and the maybe the Kansas guy. Like, hold on, let me take a look here. Make sure I get my names right. Joe Milton, Sam Hartman, and Slovis. Yeah, there we go. Devin Leary, the Kentucky guy. Chris, it was probably John. I'm not sure, but it was probably John. I don't think Pratt's going to be there in the 5th round. I think Pratt's going to be gone in the 4th. I think, what's his name? Shoot. Jordan Travis is going to be gone in the 4th, personally. He was headed towards, like, late 2nd. And then he broke his leg. Nothing new over the last several minutes. Yeah, John Stillwell. Mm-hmm. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. The truth is, I know it by different system. I think you mean different league, like the XFL or the CFL. Fields could be good in the CFL or XFL or UFL, but not in the NFL. Heck wanted Devin Bush back. Guys, Devin Bush is kind of mentally unstable on top of not being very good. I missed your response if you answered, but I got a value of 119 for the trade, and that's an early... It depends on what formula you use, Calm Cow. There are a bunch of different formulas for draft picks. One had a third, one had a fifth, one had a fourth, one had a seventh. Do we get anything for Bush? Probably not. It depends on the money. But I think it's 2 million, in which case you wouldn't get anything for him. And he doesn't deserve more than 2 million. He's not very good. I'm actually not that tired, Derek. I don't need to take a nap. Congratulations, Sea Flights. Sugar Glider's cool. It's the day, so he's sleeping. They're mostly nocturnal. Oh, by the way, we are now 10 subscribers away from 17,000. We're not even halfway through the month yet, and we might get there. Do they make a lot of noise? Sometimes, not very often. They usually just they're actually very self-sustaining. They even clean themselves. All you have to do is like provide food and water and clean the cage every now and then. They keep to themselves really well. You never have to bathe them or anything. We have Sam Howell now. Yes, space. Yeah, Fatanu's definitely a first round pick. Mostly fruit, Calm Cow, but there's also like this like special stuff I give him that's basically like kibble for sugar gliders. I don't give my sugar glider that much exotic food because it makes them smell bad. Like some people will feed their sugar glider live insects like grubs, but it makes them smell bad. So I don't ever do that. Like I've seen videos of people giving their sugar glider these live grubs and they just eat them alive, but it makes them smell. Even if Locke is better than Howl, it doesn't matter. Locke costs 5 million, this costs 1 million. Okay, you guys do understand that if Sam Howell was good, we wouldn't be able to trade for him because Washington would still have him and like him and use him, and Washington wouldn't have a top 3 pick because if he was a good quarterback, they would have won more games. The reason why this trade is on the table is that he's a very much flawed player. You guys understand that, right? Hmm. AJ Dillon heading back to Green Bay. That surprises me. Locke wouldn't have cost us a third, but he would also have cost us far more money. So that's the trade off. Well, Washington wouldn't be picking a QB if Howell was good, Rockman. That's my point. By the way, the people who are saying we traded a third round pick for him are being disingenuous because that's not what happened. We traded back from the third to the fourth and back from the fifth to the sixth. There's a big difference. A big difference. Right, so, anyway, well, no, Jason. Okay, Jason says I disagree. Howell would have to be amazing for a new FL not to draft a QB at this draft at 2. But if Howell was good, they wouldn't have the number 2 pick because they would have won more games last year because they had a good quarterback. They would have probably ended up in the back end of the top 10 and they wouldn't have had access to the top quarterbacks. If you could instantly know how to speak another language, what would it be? Sign language. Because I don't think I could ever learn sign language on my own. I don't know why you think it's whack reasoning, Jason. Like, a better quarterback would have won a few more games last year, right? Oh, be right back, guys. Okay, we're back. Sorry, that was I had to take that call. Well, Joshua, it's a very, very stupid thing to say and warrants a permanent ban from the chat. That's the best you can do. You shouldn't be here. Good Lord. Diggs might go to the Colts. Yeah, I did hear that earlier today. Yeah.
Banned. Gone. Forever.
Jets release Corey Davis from the reserved retired list. Yeah, A.J. Dillon is still like the latest significant news. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, I totally forgot to do one thing here. I'm sorry, Miles. I forgot to get you up on the leaderboard for tips. All right. Yeah, Howell has 2 years left on his deal. That's part of why this is kind of nice. Sam Howell has 2 years at $2 million. OTC's updated. Okay. Do they have an amount on the Bush contract yet? Because I haven't seen it yet. Let me see here. Yeah, TBA. They don't know. But yeah, we go 4th, 5th, 6th, 6th. And I think one of those 6th could become a 5th, but I'm not 100% sure how the compensatory thing works. And this George Fant contract might cost us one. It's possible. We'll have to see what the contract looks like. We might get a comp pick for Bush. It depends on how much he paid. And we don't have information on that yet. Somebody said 1 year, $2 million, but I've seen no source on that. So I'm going to actually update that for now. Is the goal this year to put the cheapest possible team on the field? I think it's trying to put together a team that is flexible going forward, so they're not married to anything. What happened to our 7th round selection? I think we still have it. I don't think anything's happened to it. Isn't George Fant's contract irrelevant because he's non-CFA? I don't think so. He wasn't cut. His contract expired. Yeah, there's B&B tonight. Even if Sam Howell only ever is a backup quarterback here, that's still worth what we gave up and the money, guys. So whatever happens, it's not that big of a deal. Hey, soon. Thank you for the $1.99. Any linebackers that could be released we might sign? Oh, there always are, but they probably don't get released until after the draft, right? Like a team takes a couple linebackers and then releases one of the veterans they have. But who knows who that's going to be? So after today, I feel like our only real needs are guard, linebacker, and safety. Now that's 5 positions. That's still a lot. No, we're good at D-line. We don't need more D-line. We've got 4 guys on the defensive end, and then we've got 2 guys at nose tackle. I don't think we can even afford another one. Quarterback. We're already full up at quarterback, Matthew. We have Geno and we have Howell. I don't think we're carrying a third one. Maybe we could use another nose tackle, but then you'd have 3. That's kind of awkward. Any picks for Devin Bush? It depends on the money. I haven't seen the money yet. Well, Caden, we have no depth at safety. We literally have nothing behind Love and Jenkins. Reed tore his ACL last year. Reed tore his ACL last year. There's no reason to think he'll be ready for the start of the season. I'm not even thinking about Jarek Reed. Yeah, maybe Kobe Bryant plays safety, but there's no guarantee he'll be any good at it. I'm not going to bet my life on that one. Remember, we might play a lot of 3 safety sets. Tyler Nubbin's awesome. Yeah, AJ Dillon is still the most recent news of note. I don't really see anything else going on right now. Soon. Thank you for the $1.99. Your opinion on signing Ryan Neal. It'd probably be very cheap. I think that might be just what the doctor ordered, actually. He had a bad year last year. That might not mean much. So Ryan Neal, I think, makes some sense as a like depth signing. I would definitely do that. 3.1 million, too much for a limited role for Darrell Taylor. I would have wanted to do a little bit less. I'm not thrilled about the Darrell Taylor thing, but it's not a big enough deal for me to actually be upset about. Mario, it's impossible to determine how much cap space we have left. I'll try to calculate it tonight, but I'll be making some assumptions. Ray Brown is still on the team, yes. We didn't re-sign Lockett. We restructured him. Well, here's the thing, Jason. We could have used the RFA tender on him. So if we're not going to use that tender on him, which is a tool at the disposal of teams trying to keep their players, I would have wanted to have gotten him for less. And we didn't. We got him for basically the same. And that sack production comes at a tremendous cost, Jason. Like, that sack production comes at the cost of having him completely unable to set the edge against the run. No drafting QB? Not anymore. I don't think so. I think we just used our 5th round pick on Sam Howell, effectively. Or a 5th round pick on Sam Howell. Trey Brown's way better than Eskridge. That's offensive. 1 second, guys. I need to use a Lysol wipe to wipe down this part of my keyboard. JS says Geno is our guy. Sam will be backing him up. I don't know. Every few days, I don't know if you guys will know what I'm talking about, but you guys know like this thing. It's connected via little magnets to the front side of the keyboard, right here, right? So like I have my keyboard right here, and on the front end you have this bar attached to the by a little magnet. Every few days, it just looks so ugly because you can see all the little spots on it from like dust and crap. So I like to wipe it off so it looks normal. It bugs me. It supports your wrist, yeah. Although it's a little too flat to be a real support, but that's kind of the idea. Taylor's not a bad tackler, I don't think. He's just inept in run support. Of course I do, Caden. If you don't think I curse, come follow me on Twitch. Or go watch the... Actually, you can. I took those all down. Never mind. But anyway, so speaking of which, tonight, after this stream, I'm going to be doing the Hawks Nest stream, the B&B show, with Brandon at 7. And I think tonight I'm going to skip Twitch. And if I do Twitch, it'll probably be... I'm thinking here. So, I'm thinking. Because we have 6 episodes plus Death and Rebirth left in Neon Genesis Evangelion for our watch along. So it's episodes 21 through 26, then Death and Rebirth. And I want to finish it before Sunday because that's when EOE's in the theater and I'm going to go see it. So I want to finish the rewatch before I go to the theaters. But that gives us an extra day, right? Because Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I could skip tonight after the stream with the Hawks Nest. And it would be fine. So I might do Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on Twitch tonight instead. I'm not sure yet. Well, I'll figure it out. It's not a big deal either way. Yeah, I'm not completely ruling out Milton as like QB3, but I don't think we're going to carry 3 quarterbacks. Most teams don't. I don't think this team will. But it wouldn't be the first thing in the world. It wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world. I mean, honestly, the odds of Howell becoming a good NFL quarterback are much higher than Milton becoming an NFL quarterback, but Milton has superstar potential. So it just depends on how you feel about the risk versus reward. Still not seen anything new in the last 15 minutes or so. Geno is the guy, and Sam will be backing him up, so everybody can stop talking about Howell as a starter. He's going to have to do something insane to become the starter. Hey, soon, thank you for the $1.99. What is the rule that lets a team carry extra quarterback? What is it? Like, I don't know exactly how it works, but I think what it is you can declare an emergency quarterback that doesn't count against the roster and just have that guy on standby in case your quarterback gets hurt. QB1 Sam Howell, thank you for the $2 Uber chat. Geno is the starter until he's not. I mean, I guess that's a tautology, right? That's literally true. No, Batman v Superman's a terrible movie, Caden J. John Schneider says Geno is the guy and Sam will be backing him up. So it's going to take something pretty crazy to push him off of that, probably. And the only guy from my tier list that's come off today, I think, is DJ Reader, and I took him off yesterday anyway because we didn't want him anymore. My top guys remaining are not moving for shit. Honestly, today's been slow as hell overall. I haven't even filled up one page of moves. So if Howell is 80% of Geno and costs 30 million less next offseason, if he's 80% of Geno, I mean, that's not far away at all. That's actually really appealing. But how could we determine that without him actually playing? Is the question I have, Jason. How would we know? Honestly, by the way, unless Geno kills it this year, I think he is going to be gone next year. I think he's going to have to play at an elite level, and then we extend him. But regardless of if it's Howell or not, I don't think Geno will be here in 2025. So I don't know if it's going to be Howell as the future, but Geno's going to have to play incredibly well, I think, to stick around next year. We're not going to keep him on that cap hit, I don't think. So we extend him or we cut him. No, Ben Affleck is great as Batman, but the movies suck. Like, Michael Keaton is the best Batman, but his movies suck. The Schneider cut of Justice League is good, but the Schneider cut of BVS doesn't do anything. Michael Keaton's Batman is much more interesting than Bale's Batman. Bale's justification for being Batman was actually pretty simplistic. If but Keaton, the thing that's interesting about Keaton's Batman is he's being Batman because he needs Batman. If you look at like the gothic artistry and imagery in Wayne Manor in the the 1989 Batman movie, you can look at it and you can say like, okay, this is a very weird guy. He needs Batman. He needs to be Batman for his own personal reasons. Right? I think that's cool. Bale is Batman because the city needs somebody to save it, which is fine, but it's not as interesting as Keaton, I think. Like Keaton genuinely needed Batman to satisfy himself, I think. And that's the difference. And that's why I think Keaton's Batman is the best. Favorite Joker? Heath Ledger. Faisal Omar, welcome to the channel. Thank you for the sub. We are right on the verge of 17,000 people. Yeah, we are 6 away. And Tobey Maguire has the best movie, Spider-Man. I don't think he's a very accurate Peter Parker, but that's a good thing, right? That's not a bad thing. He's trying to be the best character he can be, and if it's not totally comic book accurate, who cares? I have a hot take. Jack Nicholson's Joker sucks. Jack Nicholson's Joker is not good. Yeah, Andrew Garfield was a better Spider-Man than Tobey, for sure. I don't think I like his movies quite as much, but I do think they're better. But I do think he's a more comic accurate Peter Parker, but again, the goal is to make a good movie, not to adapt a comic book. I don't think there's any difference between Jack Nicholson's Joker and Jim Carrey's Riddler and Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face. All three of them are doing the exact same thing. They're just showing up in scenes doing physical comedy and then leaving. Like, seriously, what does Jack Nicholson's Joker want? What is he trying to achieve in that movie? What is his goal? Can you answer that question? I don't think you can. I think his only goal in that movie is to just show up and do stuff so that Batman has to stop him, and then show up in the next scene and do more stuff, and then he does more stuff. Jason, I think Heath Ledger's Joker's goal is to prove that everybody else is just as crazy as he is. He, I think he is trying to prove a point with what he's doing. And the point is that I think that he is actually trying to accomplish saying something about society with what he's doing. I don't think you can say that about Jack Nicholson's Joker. Anything new? Schneider on George Fant says his role will be like a utility offensive lineman. So, not indicating he'll be a starter. You know, honestly, I didn't think The Dark Knight Rises was that good. The Dark Knight Rises was okay. Did you like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie? I think the first one's kind of okay, like average. And 2 and 3 are good. Guardians 2 and Guardians 3 are good. Yeah, I've seen the Dune movies. Not the David Lynch one. There were things about the 2022 Batman that I liked, but overall, I just thought it was okay. I thought there were some cool ideas in there. Ryan C, thank you for the $20 tip. I got nothing to say, just supporting. Well, thank you, Ryan C. I appreciate that support very much. The Dark Knight Rises has a crappy second act. I'm sorry, it does. That second act is a mess. The Seahawks are going to play more too high this year and split safeties with Love and Jenkins. Okay. I think we all kind of knew that. The Joker wasn't in The Dark Knight Rises. Him getting his butt kicked by Bane was in the first act. The second act is him in the prison while Bane takes over Gotham and everyone in Gotham acts like a moron. Because apparently they don't know how to deal with a chaotic situation, even though they've been thrust into chaotic situations constantly over the last several years. And the pacing is so bad. like 4 months pass in a matter of 5 minutes, and the movie does a terrible job of piecing together like the progression of time, and then the last day takes like the whole third act. Yeah, Dark Knight Rises was Bane. So what's the plan at linebacker? Go cheap. Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow is technically in all three. I have read that Christopher Nolan let God, who was that? Who's that guy? The guy who wrote Batman v Superman. Who am I thinking of here? What's the guy's name? He wrote Batman v Superman. He wrote most of the Dark Knight Rises. No, Schneider directed it. I'm not talking about Schneider. Hold on. I need to look up his name. I used to know his name off the top of my head. Now I don't. David Goyer. Yes, David Goyer. I have heard that David Goyer wrote a pretty large portion of The Dark Knight Rises, and Nolan just let him do it, which explains a lot. J Maz, thank you for the $4.99. Do you think the Seahawks can't afford to move on from Metcalf? No, we don't save any money if we move Metcalf right now. It's the same. The dead cap's basically identical. So, no, there's no amount of draft picks we could get that would make that worth it that any team would be willing to give up. Thank you, J Mez. So, favorite MCU film, Winter Soldier. He directed the first Suicide Squad. Yeah, but I think he wrote Batman v Superman. And he wrote Man of Steel. And he's a terrible writer, I think. He is an awful writer. I know he has a writing credit for The Dark Knight, but I think he did very little on that one, according to the research I did a while ago. And then he did a lot of the writing on The Dark Knight Rises. Goyer wrote Batman Begins, and that was really good. Goyer wrote that, and that was actually a really good job by him. I think he did most of the work on that. I hated Man of Steel. But yeah, Goyer wrote Man of Steel, Batman v Superman. He wrote Terminator Dark Fate, which was the one that I don't think anybody saw. Where I don't know, maybe somebody saw it. I think I saw it at some point, but I can't remember it very well. And then he wrote the Hellraiser remake they tried 2 years ago that everyone hated. Yeah, I'm looking at this guy's career. He wrote the Ghost Rider sequel with Nicolas Cage, Jumper, Blade. He wrote the Blade movies, Dark City, The Crow, City of Angels. Yeah, he's not very good, but he did write, I think, most of Batman Begins. I hated I didn't like Man of Steel at all. So the Bears are just screwed on this Fields thing now, ain't they? 1 hour left on the stream, by the way, guys. 1 hour left. It is now 4 o'clock dead on, and nothing's happening. There are still good players out there, man. I'm surprised there isn't a little more movement. All right, guys, I'm going to step away for a few minutes. I got to go see what's going on for dinner. It is pie day, so I'm probably going to have pizza, but let's figure out. Okay. Okay, we're back. Welcome back, everybody. Nothing going on, man. It is slow. I'm not certain, Arusa, but it seems highly unlikely to me that the interview is happening because it hasn't been reported by anyone else. The only person reporting it is one guy who's already been outed as a fake. Trent Sherfield to the Vikings. Okay. I don't see anything official yet. Oh, I forgot to update the tracker. There we go. I just don't like pineapple on pizza. I like pineapple. Pineapple's good, but I don't like putting it on pizza. What do you mean, Byron PY? We need another quarterback, and he's another quarterback who's going to cost very little money. I don't know. I know some people don't like Sam Howell. That's pretty understandable. He's not a good quarterback yet. But we needed something. And most things that we could have gotten would have cost about as much. Do you think Christopher Reeve's Superman movies and Superman Returns are good? 1 and 2 of Christopher Reeves, those movies are pretty good. Yeah. Superman Returns isn't good. I only saw that movie once, but that's not very good. You like your steak well done or medium cooked? You gotta have medium for a steak. If there isn't a little bit of red in there, what's the point? I mean, like, what is Superman Returns supposed to be? Is it a sequel or a remake or a reboot? Like, I remember watching a video on this a long time ago where he was like, okay, the characters are a reboot, the story is a sequel, and the plot is a remake. Right? It's like 3 different things. It's very confusing. Because Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor acts nothing at all like Gene Hackman's Luthor. They're not the same character. You ever thought about doing movie reviews? I used to. Nobody watched them, but that was like 10 years ago, so that doesn't mean anything, but yeah, movie reviews are fun. 7 o'clock, Jonathan. And then it's a sequel to the first 2 movies. Yeah. It's like all 3 at once. And I don't know, I think that's very weird. Still nothing. It's not that I don't think that pineapple belongs on pizza. If people want to put pineapple on pizza, I don't care. Like, I don't think that makes sense. But he's also very, it's just something that I don't like. Also, it really feels like Brandon Ruth is doing an impression. Just doing like a mediocre impression of Christopher Reeves. It's never good when they're doing a sequel or a remake or they're doing the same character and it feels like the new actor is just doing an impression of the old actor instead of trying to put his own thing on it. Which is, again, kind of weird because Lex Luthor is played so differently. 2 subs away from 17,000, by the way. Absolutely wild. Like, I think this movie's largely been forgotten by history, but Men in Black 3, um, Josh Brolin plays young K, which is Tommy Lee Jones, and he does such a good job of like clearly being K, but also um adding his own stuff to that character. You think Sam Howell can start? I think it's unlikely, but it's on the table. Yeah, Men in Black 3 was better than I expected. I liked Men in Black 3. I think it's better than the first Men in Black. Are you going to do a video on Devin Bush? I mentioned him at the tail end of the Sam Howell video. I don't really care to say much more than what I said in that video. There's not much to say. I don't think we were ever bringing him back. Egghead likes his bookie wook. Wow. 16,999. They're 1 sub away. Would you prefer Leo, Reader, or Armstead? I think Leo's the best of the three, but I don't think Armstead's equivalent. I think Armstead's not really an equivalent player. He's an... Isn't he like a 5 tech? What are all these people saying we traded a 3rd-round pick for Sam Howell? We did not. Oh, we just got there, guys. 17,000. Officially 17,100. 17,001, excuse me. Yeah, 17,001. We are there. Thank you, Derek. I followed JS's interview on X, Mike Smith. I didn't listen to it. I read the quotes. So much for John Schneider itching to draft a quarterback. Yeah, thank you, Flag Sabbath. We're definitely not taking a quarterback in the first round now, I think. I think there is some belief that Howell can become a guy at some point. Swine flu because they liked other players better. I don't know. That being said, I don't totally buy this idea that we loved Sam Howell coming out of college. If we did love him, we would have drafted him higher. But I do believe that we were planning on drafting him and then we got sniped. I do believe that. No, truth is, I know it. Thank you, Ramp and C. I appreciate that. Nothing is happening. My favorite food, I like prime rib. Okay. So since the talent in this draft drops off really drastically in like the third round or early fourth round, should we trade all of our day 3 picks to get back up to into the day 2 as much as possible? John saying linebacker market went quicker than expected is not a good look. I don't feel like it's went that quick, honestly. Even I don't know. I don't mind having lackluster linebackers because I do believe that McDonald's going to have to work his magic. That's part of the reason why he's here. And I also think that it's not a very relevant position. And also, by the way, if we sign like one guy like Devondre Campbell, everything feels different. Horseradish screws me up. Truth is, I know it. Horseradish destroys me. It absolutely destroys me. I can't handle horseradish. You like Howl over Ritter? I didn't during the draft. At this point, he's more valuable, though. Coleslaw's okay. I don't know why everyone's assuming that we're going to trade down for sure now. I really don't feel that way. You know, my favorite thing about this offseason so far is the fact that Matty F. Brown and Griff both hate it so much. That tells me we're probably doing the right thing. No, Caden J, he just likes attention. He doesn't have mental problems. I mean, unless you consider narcissism to be a mental issue of some kind. Nubbin at 16 is a little high. I don't know if I can do. I don't know if I can do Nubbin at 16. I like him a lot, though. I love Nubbin, though, so I wouldn't be angry about it. I'd just be like, that's a little high. Oh, Tyrell Dodson as a domestic 60. Well, Eskridge is still on this team, isn't he? Eskridge is still on this team. I like Edgerrin Cooper a lot, yeah. He's probably the best linebacker in this class. Okay, Vikings sign Trent Sherfield. There we go, finally. Not that I know who that is or anything. Funny Money, thank you for the sub. Welcome to the channel. Okay, apparently, according to Aaron Wilson, the Seahawks have visited or had in for a visit Tyrell Dodson and Kavon Wallace. Going to repeat that because that's going to be very interesting to some people. The Seahawks have reportedly met with Tyrell Dodson, and Kevon Wallace. Kevon Wallace is a safety. He was a Titan, I think. He was pretty good last year, I think. Dodson was amazing last year, but it was a small sample size. He was the guy who took over from Matt Milano. Yeah, I'm starting to see a lot of reports now that the Star Wars Battlefront thing is garbage. So that will probably be a skip. It has a lot of bugs. One thing my friend suggested, what if Aaron Rodgers knows he's not going to be healthy this year, so he's going to take the year off to run for VP and then come back in 2025? Yeah, swine flu, but we should not be putting up with that. That should not be a thing that happens. Like this was the beauty of Baldur's Gate 3, the fact that that game was released like less than 6 months ago in the state that it was, playing the way that it did, proves that releasing good things and supporting it properly is possible. That's like why so many developer studios were apparently really unhappy about Baldur's Gate 3, because it exposed how lazy everybody else was. Because Baldur's Gate 3 is a huge game with a ton of branching decision points. And that game released in a very good state and got supported by the studio. And it just made a game it makes these other games look like a joke in comparison. Like something like Redfall. Like Redfall wasn't Redfall just a looter shooter? An hour left, by the way, guys. But yeah, Redfall was just a looter shooter, I think. And that game was unplayable. Yeah, exactly, Hawkskull. They didn't release it in a bad form. They waited until the game was actually good. Looter shooter. Looter shooter's like Borderlands. Looter shooter is like a game that involves a lot of like collecting stuff, after, and it plays like a first person shooter. Steelers re-sign Montravius Adams. Who is that? Never heard of this man before. E.L.M. Adams, Steelers, 2 years, unknown money. Damn. Okay. Why does Madden have bugs every year, by the way? Honest question. The game is basically exactly the same every year. Like, the entire game takes place on a field, a, relatively small area. Everything takes place within this little box. And they can't get the game right. Red Dead Redemption 2 takes place over, like, 3 different states. And there are less bugs in Red Dead Redemption 2 than Madden. Think about that. Oh. Oh. Test. Okay, 1 second, guys. All right, everybody, we are just wrapping up the day here on Seahawks, Brendan Nelson, and it was a relatively quiet day with one big boom in the middle of it with the Sam Howell trade. Things were very, very active during that period of time. Everyone's sounding off. They love it. They hate it. They're indifferent to it. All kinds of interesting stuff circling around that. But other than that, all we really got was contract details on some of our previous deals. And then Devin Bush went to the Browns. And that was kind of a whatever because nobody really wanted Devin Bush back anyway. And things have just been quiet pretty much league wide. The signings today have been really slow. The biggest thing that's happened would be maybe Curtis Samuel and Eric Armstead. They got pretty big contracts out there. So I think that that is pretty much all there is to say about that. But I do have one thing to toss out there as we sign off for the day and move towards the show with the Hawks Nest later tonight, where we talk about the free agency week so far in its totality. We are visiting with a couple of interesting players. It was reported just a few minutes ago from assorted sources that the Seattle Seahawks are meeting with 2 free agents. Tyrell Dodson, linebacker from the Buffalo Bills, and Kayvon Wallace, safety, previously of, I believe, the Eagles and the Titans. So the whoa. Okay, I'm just gonna dump that video because yes, okay, Tyrell Dodson. Tyrell. Okay, that kind of changes the way I need to structure that video for it to make sense. Dodson. No contract details yet, though. And Devin White signed a deal with the Eagles. Okay. Worth up to 1 year, 7.5 million for Devin White to the Eagles. So we get to take. Oh, I get to take him off my tier list. R.I.P. Devin White. You will be missed. And linebacker. Okay, what's the contract on Dodson might get a decent amount because he was good last year. He played really good last year. Okay, I'll just put question marks for the contract. All right, let's crank this out. Okay. What's up, everybody? Good late afternoon or early evening for some of you. And we just had a little bit of a boom, our only second boom of the day, because it's been a pretty slow day, both Seahawks wise and NFL wise. Not a ton has happened, but we just got a couple of pretty juicy updates in the last few minutes here. So, about 15 minutes ago, it was reported that the Seahawks were visiting with two defensive players, Tyrell Dodson, linebacker from Buffalo, and Kayvon Wallace, safety, previously of the Tennessee Titans and Philadelphia Eagles. Well, just like 2 minutes ago, it was reported from a couple different sources that the Seahawks came to an agreement with Tyrell Dodson. Schultz, I believe, was the first one on it. We don't know the contract details yet. We don't know the length. We don't know the money. But Tyrell Dodson was a player that I spoke about at some length during this offseason. He was really intriguing to me because he's young and he played like a star last year. But the sample size was small, so I didn't know exactly what was going to happen here. But when Matt Milano went down for Buffalo, Tyrell Dodson was one of the key guys who stepped in for him and took over. And his high level of play in 2023 was a big reason why Buffalo's defense was able to remain elite without Milano. And by the way, not only him, I think Tre'Davious White also got hurt early in the season. And I think they lost one of their safeties as well. So Tyrell Dodson was very impressive last year. PFF had him graded as like the top linebacker in the league almost. He was right up there. So Tyrell Dodson was somebody who I had on my list as a really intriguing starter option, and that looks like that's what he's going to be right now. So I'm really excited about this one. I love the signing, assuming the contract is reasonable. We don't know what the contract is yet, so for me to judge that, I mean, I just can't do it yet. But the actual player, I like a lot. So this takes care of part of the linebacker need. We are not done yet. We're going to need at least one more linebacker, maybe two more, honestly. I'm not a big believer in John Radigan. And we still have to wait on what happens with Kayvon Wallace. If we sign Kayvon Wallace, I think that basically takes care of our safety situation. I think we do need one more safety, but Wallace would take care of that. So maybe we'll get news about him in the coming few minutes here. But yeah, Tyrell Dodson to the Seahawks. And I'm pretty happy. Maybe I won't be happy when we get the contract details, but right now I'm happy. All right. See y'all later. Go Hawks. Good signing. Pretty happy with the day so far. And let's see what else happens in these last few minutes. All right, let me get Dodson off the list here because we now have him. I think he was on screen, actually. Let me check. Yes, Tyrell Dodson was actually on screen. Now he's off the screen because we signed him. Right. Most linebackers are small in the modern NFL, though, Big Boy Jess. They need to be, or else they can't keep up. Okay. I think everybody's going to feel a little bit better now. Dodson did excel in a small sample size, but he did excel. Dodson was drafted as a 20-year-old. Really? Given that Devin White got benched a couple times last year, I don't know if 7.5 is that cheap. Like, Devin White's in a weird place in his career. You guys got to understand it. Like, there's some stuff with him that is very concerning. For all we know, he wasn't even on our list. Undrafted FA? Yeah. Wait a minute. Dodson's 237 pounds? That's not light. That's actually a pretty normal size for a linebacker right now. Thank you, Chris. With how you think The Dark Knight Rises is okay, what did you think about the twist and how that girl villain died? Twist is dumb. The Dark Knight Rises twist is stupid. If you want to see how you do a twist like that, look at Iron Man 3. And I know everyone hates Iron Man 3, but that is a great movie and a much better example of how you do a villain twist. Far better. I think Iron Man 3 is actually a top 3 or top 4 MCU movie. That's one of the movies that I actually think is so much better than people give credit for. Kayvon Wallace is pretty good, but he's another guy who hasn't played that much. Denver wanted Howell. I could buy it. I could buy it. Do we have any money left? We don't know exactly. I'm going to try to calculate it tonight. Later tonight, guys, I'm going to make a video that tries to figure out what our cap space is. Better than Iron Man 1? No, I think Iron Man 1's probably a little bit better. Iron Man 3 does actually have a better story, though. Iron Man 3 actually has a story. Right. Chargers sign Puna Ford. Chargers sign Puna Ford. Puna Ford continues to find work. Good for him. 1-year deal. Have fun with Harbaugh, Mr. Puna. Russell Wilson wants to go to Seattle and play. What are you the fuck are you talking about, Tan Fam? Where the hell did that come from? Did you think Trevor from Iron Man 3 is hilarious? I don't know if he's hilarious, but that's a really interesting concept for a villain, I think. That's actually an innovative idea for a villain. Like, because Iron Man 3 came out in an era where every superhero movie had the exact same villain. So for Iron Man 3, they decided to do something totally different that kind of intentionally subverted that, which I thought was a brilliant idea. Dodson is an outside guy, not in a 3-4. Iron Man 2 is terrible. Iron Man 2 is the worst MCU movie. And one of the worst movies of the last 15 years. That movie sucks. They didn't even try with that movie, dude. It is very obvious they didn't even bother trying to write that movie. That movie is a joke. Thor 2 is okay. People hate on Thor 2 too much, I think. It's okay. I haven't seen Thor 4 yet. Captain Marvel was okay. I didn't have a big problem with Eternals. I know why people don't like it. I totally get it, but I didn't mind it. Simmons would be perfect. I'm not against it. I'm behind on... I think I'm done with the MCU stuff, though. Like, I didn't see the last Black Panther, and I didn't see the last Thor, so I'm behind. So I don't know what's going on anymore, and I'm probably just checked out. Give us a breakdown of Dotson. Well, he was the guy who took over for Matt Milano last year when he got hurt, and that Buffalo defense maintained their elite level despite um despite losing so many great players, in part because Dodson played so well. And you can't say that he was surrounded by great teammates over in Buffalo because a lot of them got hurt. Doctor Strange 2 was okay. I did see No Way Home. No Way Home's good. I haven't seen Invincible yet. It's on the list along with The Boys. Very good cover linebacker in college with size problems, but he has gotten bigger. Yeah, he's like 237, I guess. I don't consider that to be small. Velez Jueves, everybody. Man, I can't skip watching Evangelion on Felix Jueves. Apparently, there is some belief that Patrick O'Connell will be good. I have retrievers. I have retriever dogs. Guys, Tyrell Dodson paid his debt to society, all right? The glider is asleep. He sleeps most of the day. He's nocturnal. Evangelion is the one with the weird bath. Well, there are a lot of weird scenes in Evangelion. I guess one of them takes place in a bathtub. We're getting to the weird stuff, though, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the watch-along stream tonight, but if not, I'll be doing it tomorrow and Saturday. We'll see. I'd love to be able to do it tonight, but it may not be realistic. The hell are you trying to say, Joey? What? No, Jordan. We did have one for our old dogs. We don't have one for these dogs. We could get one. Right. Am I forgetting anything on the tier list? I think that's everything. Logan Thomas hasn't signed yet, I don't think. All right. Oh, I was actually thinking about a different scene power hitter, but either way, yeah, I think so. Married. Prank 'em, Shinji. Prank 'em. We definitely had a cap after this contract? I don't know. You're such a quirked up white boy, goaded with the sauce. No, the Chargers re-signed Puna. Did I put it in the wrong column? No, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, Lockett didn't take as much of a pay cut as I thought, but that's kind of our fault because a lot of his money is from previous restructures that cannot be gotten out of. So he did what he could, and what he did was good enough. No, that's a Montravius Adams went to Steelers. Montravius. You think Howell will take some run play numbers from K9? You wouldn't think so. Apparently, his Lockett's dead money next year is $4 million, which is phenomenal. Which, I mean, obviously we're going to let him go or restructure him completely at that point. Favorite free agent move so far for Seattle? Honestly, probably Dodson, but we need to see this contract amount. We need to see how much money we're talking here before I commit to that. How else can Seattle save cap? They can restructure DK. They can extend Geno. They can, I guess, restructure Dixon and Myers, but I wouldn't do Myers. No, that's Montravius Adams. I'm not spelling Montravius. It's too late in the day. Have you seen the Tank anime? No. I don't think it'll be 2 parts, Austin. It shouldn't be. Oh boy. I haven't watched very much newer anime, Revry. I'm probably going to start getting into it more. Um, like people keep telling me to watch Attack on Titan. I'm probably going to do that. I don't know if I'll be able to do a watch along though. I have a feeling that stuff is probably going to set off a bunch of flags. No, Austin, I did that today. That was today I had to do that. I've seen the first Evon. You mean Evangelion? What do you mean first? First episode? First movie? First series? What do you mean first what? Going to the new Godzilla movie? I probably will. First series, well, I mean that's kind of all there is. You can watch the rebuilds, but I mean I personally am not a big fan of the changes they made in the rebuild, but the animation is beautiful. But I don't like the plot changes they made, and I don't like how happy the ending is. I'm hyped for Dotson, 100%. Yeah, Eva's confusing for sure. All right, guys, we made it to 5 o'clock. Things have slowed down. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I got stuff to do. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I am going to go take care of my dinner, take care of dog's dinner. And we will be back later tonight on the Hawks Nest stream in about 2 hours. See you then.